Let's take a look at the rosters coming from, first off, the SMU Huskies is going to be Blur, Hazy, and Hude V. That's going to be making up our roster for the Huskies. Now let's take a look at their opponents on the other side of the pitch. Going to be coming through in the blue and gold. It's going to be the University of New Haven, the Chargers. And that is going to be REX, Winsy, and what I assume to be Mountain Drew Gaming.
Mountain Drew, yes, sir.
Mountain Drew Gaming. I had to slowly read that one to get it out right, but we ready to head into game number 1 in this best-of-5 series.
Yes, sir. The SMU Huskies coming into this one a 4-1 record. Had their bye week number 1. Followed it up with a W against the Carleton Ravens. A forfeit win after that against Waterloo. Followed that up a nice 3-0 against Lancer Gaming. 3-2 against TMU. And then the last week of the regular season, though, the Conestoga Condors Gold took them down to the wire. A 3-2 loss. The Huskies Maroon taking a look and talking about New Haven Chargers 2-3 on the season. Week went by as well. That was a week 1 loss, 3-1 to Delaware Varsity, 3-0 against Shenandoah, 1-3 against Champlain, followed up with a 3-1 Arcadia University, and then a double forfeit, both teams taking an L for not scheduling in time there. That was week 6 against Terps Esports. So there's a little bit of pressure here early, but really the story of these two teams is a very different one, correct?
I mean, at least so far, it does seem to be that way. But, you know, once we head into the postseason as we are, things begin to change. Again, a lot of teams really show up big in the postseason. And, you know, some teams are just better in the postseason. We'll find out which is which as we continue on, as we have gotten right into a very speedy back and forth to start things off between the Huskies and the Chargers. As now you can see, the Huskies seem to be mounting a little bit of an offense here as they patrol the midfield line.
Up and down to it. Hazy almost making that one sing with an early, decently early goal. About 1:15 burned off as of right now. That's HUD EV. Hazy is going to be the one to put this one in. Teammate, again, that's HUD EV out of University of Huskies Maroon, passing this one up, making this one possible.
Oh yeah, nice flippery doodah Philip flip reset there just to get the pass out to mid. And literally, the intended target didn't even have to move. They just had to stay put, keep course going straight forward, and the ball had no choice but to go into the back of the net. You know, good reads, good plays so far coming from the Huskies.
Indeed, Winsy coming out with the save right there, kind of trying to shut down this play here and early. HUD EV kind of rotating around, taking an unfortunate L. Hazy finds a demo right there, just kind of getting their teammate back, right? Ooh, okay.
What a read. Winsy able to get up there in the contention while contested, able to get there right before HUD EV could get the touch on it. And there you have it, just like that. Easy come, easy go. We got ourselves a tie game yet again, Tugboat.
Easy come, easy go. Round and round. Where we stop, I do not know. 3 minutes, 14 seconds up top. We got a tie ball game here. Captain trying to walk the dog inside. Winsy says, hey, put that thing on a leash.
And now we're back into Chargers territory. A big read coming off the back wall. No one there to follow it up from the Huskies. As once again, we get a banger off the back wall. Blur able to get a touch on it. Tries to get the pinch down. As this one will make its way back to the midfield line as the Chargers look to try and take possession. But right now, it is just an absolute tug of war at that midfield line off of the read, as that one is just going to go down and by the wayside.
Nice pinch off the wall here from Hazy. Now trying to set up a teammate, but Blur, full name Blur on Phonum. I feel like I'm missing something here. But hey, 32 years old, maybe that makes sense. Halftime now. Down bottom, easy takeaway there from Hazy, but Hazy actually gets hit a little bit. Hit again off the wall. Hazy looking for another tap. Pulse Oryx. Oh, excuse me, it says it in here. Oryx here. Gonna be able to get that one out.
Right now, the Chargers, with their backs up against the wall, have to try and recover before HUD EV is able to find the back of the net, now giving the Huskies a 1-goal lead.
Nicely done. Nicely done. Just off the wall right here is Hazy, HUD EV, and Blur. Everybody getting involved on that one and making that happen here for an finally really a lead for one of these two teams. There was an early lead about a minute and 15 in. It was answered quickly to remain at that tied-up score line. Now, mild advantage here for the Huskies Maroon squad. Excuse me. See how the Chargers deal with it.
And we're going right back to the midfield line, looking to take possession now. Blur doesn't have a lot of boost to follow it up with, but that's okay. They have a teammate in the back line. As this 50 does go back towards the mid, a shot on, but doesn't go in. The follow-up coming from up on high off the backboard, not going to be any good as well as this one's going to go the other way.
Back to the middle, so this is going to buy the Chargers a little bit of time to get in the defensive position. As I say that, only one player there, Martzy, going to be very glad they're exactly where they needed to be as the second hit did get attempted there. Martzy off the wall now to the corner, burns most of the boost to get there. Winsey forced to get involved on that one just to keep this alive.
Yeah, appreciate the Goomba stomp coming from Martzy there on the back end. Not able to make the most of it, but still, you appreciate a good Goomba stomp, as now you can see the Huskies trying to once again mount an offense, and the Chargers really struggling to get this one on. As finally the demo will open things up. Winsey with the cheeky boom boom in the net to get the equalizer, tying us up at 2 apiece.
Yeah, it was a great shot, but this just doesn't happen without Winsey's demo across the bottom, man. It just does not happen. 47 seconds, excuse me, left in this one. Got another tie game. Why am I not surprised? We got a back and forth already for member out of the Champs Northeast A division in the Huskies Maroon squad, Champs Northeast B division for the University of New Haven.
And you also got to give appreciation to the Chargers being able to come in clutch with just, a few seconds left on the board. This late in the game, being able to make big plays like that is not easy as the pressure begins to build even further, as we could very well see OT here in game number 1, Tugboat.
Yeah, 8 seconds away from it, Captain. Is it New Year's Day? Is it my birthday? Because New Year's Day is my birthday. Well, not going to be my birthday. Still going to get a present, though. Overtime in game numero uno.
Well, here we go. We are now in overtime as the clock will tick upward. And now we are in golden goal territory. And you know what? I always say this all the time, but I really do feel like overtime Rocket League is like a completely different game. I mean, some teams just do better in overtime than others. And you know what? I just can't help but feel as though it's really a difference maker for a lot of these teams, especially in the postseason. Being able to perform in overtime is just a completely different talent in and of itself.
Pressure creates diamonds. It also crushes completely, Captain. We'll see which team goes forth to shine like a precious diamond. Which team will be crushed under said pressure. Now, there's a lot of back and forth. Both of these teams, honestly, are really, really pensive to try and get anything going offensively. Both opting to keep 2 players back in the defensive stance pretty much entirely. That could have been something beautiful for the Chargers in game number 1 right here. A squad that finished the regular season at 2-3. They're looking to make a statement here in the postseason. They're looking to make it early. That's a little bit too high, but that one ain't. 4-1 Huskies Maroon squad make their own statement in game number 1 of their quarterfinals run.
And what a play that was. Again, Blur getting in on the action there to get that initial. Game number 2, you have got to get on the other side of the pitch, and you've got to start playing more offense.
Yeah, and this is frequently the case, especially in Game 1 overtimes, close games. Teams will really kind of feel each other out. The double whiff right there. I think both of them were kind of pre-jumping and anticipating the other player to hit it. Regardless, I would be very, very surprised if this isn't rather high-flying and high-scoring game in Game number 2, because it's always kind of like that feel-out factor. Well, we got a goal number 1. Was that, I guess, 75 seconds for our Game number 1. We don't have to wait but 20 of them here in Game number 2.
Yeah, my goodness, so quick and speedy right off the rip. And right now, that seems to be like the real defining factor between the two, is it does look like, unfortunately, one of our players may have gotten disconnected. It looks like Oryx may have had some type of server connectivity issues as they are able to join back in. So I assume we're going to play on. But, somebody, I think, just happened to trip over their Ethernet cord, had to unplug and plug back in.
Yeah, it happened. So, hey, somebody picked up the phone, right? Interrupted the dial-up connection. Had to scream my uncle to get off the phone so I can play my online esports, right? I know that's a dated reference, but I really hope that you get it.
I mean, I really think that these young folk here today can appreciate what they have, as we did not so long ago, as it will be Oryx to come through and get the equalizer off of this beautiful pass play. The give and go finds the back of the net, and we have yet again another tie ball game, Tugboat.
My goodness, that shot to the bottom left right there, Captain, was perfectly timed, perfectly placed, and about as fast as you're gonna get it. Chargers coming off with some offense here early, a little bit of physical play, a little bump action, and a demo. Pulls Oryx now rotating up, tries to get to it, wins the 50 off the wall actually, but nobody on the other side, so blur. The Huskies do lose that 50. That got the follow-up there as nobody got vertical with it. Martzi with an honest shot, making an honest defensive block out of HUD AEV, and now Blur tries to send this middle. Is he blocked to the corner here, but a really weird way off the said corner from this Chargers member yields an continued offensive pressure. Hit over. Oryx, though, is going to find that one. This is just the Chargers playing ping pong against the Huskies Maroons backboard.
Yeah, this was just a matter of time coming. I mean, the Chargers kept building up the shot count even more and more so. And you know what? Those are the changes that we were talking about from game number 1 to game number 2. They had to step up their presence inside of Husky territory, and they did just that. And that's what you love to see from these collegiate esports teams, from any type of esports team, is being able to make adjustments and corrections in real time in the middle of a series. It really is impressive.
Like those improvements, those changes, those necessary tweaks on the fly. Speaking on the fly, I was going to say, don't be surprised when Wednesday comes down from on high with it. 2-1 lead here for the Huskies, but this is the same thing that 2-1 lead for the Chargers. Now St. Mary's University, not Southern Methodist University, but St. Mary's University here out of Canada as well. Out of Canada, we have an international competition on our hands here. I failed to mention that. Excuse me, folks. This is New Haven out of Connecticut here against a Canadian squad, an international competition.
You love to see it. Those are the best kinds. And I got to tell you, I have not casted International Rocket League since CRL Worlds a while ago. So, you know, it's great to see more Canadian teams showing themselves here today and also showing themselves in a spectacular fashion as we continue on. As the Chargers look to add on to their lead. What? Hazy coming through with an epic save to clear the ball away.
Hazy, not even clear on how he got there. Somebody clipped that for Hazy. Up and down, Martzi! Now finding the biggest score differential that either of these two teams have enjoyed so far in this best-of-5 matchup. 69 miles an hour. Nice.
And you love to see the Chargers are a bucking, because once again, that is the second goal, at least to note, that has come off the demo. Again, big demos being made, and they're resulting in some pretty big plays for the Chargers as they look to force their way into another goal, as that one is able to get cleared out by the Blur. But for how long?
For how long indeed. This is the Chargers squad that had got beat on the amount of shots in the first game here, but this is just looking like three players that played much better. They've gotten so many shots. Winsey, I don't even know how many that is, comes up for this one and ends up just giving up the possession. Not the best angle, and I was going to say, I hope this isn't the Chargers dedicating way too much into offense and kind of like losing their place a little bit, right? Like losing respect for the Maroons defense and then what they can do on offense, right?
Absolutely. And you know what? I absolutely just love seeing how good these players really are, because until you actually get the whole experience of being, in somewhat of a league like this, being up against top tier competition, you don't really get the appreciation for how talented these players really are. I mean, if you were to throw me into this pitch right now among all these players, it would literally look like I was in a rowboat going up against, top echelon speedboats. I would just be motionless.
Fair. These players on this side of the pitch and us in the booth for a reason, folks. 30 seconds to go here. Classic 30-second drill from the Huskies. Will they get this hunt together and Find a solid query or this. Oh, nice double block. Actually, I do believe that was even necessary because Blur was at a really bad angle. Now they have to score, though, and they have to do it pretty much now just to have a shot at triple zeros, though. The insurance goal has been purchased for the Chargers. That's not on point and still redirected. RX sends this to the teammate. This has burned time, and the Chargers have taken down their second game of this series, full of responsibilities when it comes to both offense and defense.
Absolutely. Already you can see the Huskies trying to start things off on the offensive side here in game number 3 as Hazy goes up, tries to get the read, and they will follow it all the way back down to force this one in. What a shot to start the game off.
The nose in, the triple tap. Hazy getting involved right there and blocking away any opportunity for the defender with boost to come to ground. Insane stuff. Hazy hurt us. Hazy hurt us.
And they must have. That was a cheeky goal to start things off. Honestly, I didn't think that one was going to go in off the first read, but somehow
Agreed, man. Agreed.
They're able to angle themselves just right. And now the Huskies, they get a much-needed early lead here in game number 3. Hopefully, will build some momentum for their side.
Ooh, Blur right there. That was going to be a fantastic shot on. A great read from this defense here, but now transitioning perfectly into offense is the Chargers. A bouncing ball. Nobody really trying to pick this one up as Marcy gets the second hit. That's going to be an answer from Oryx and the University of New Haven Chargers.
Well, there we go. I mean, this game is destined to just be equalized, I feel. I mean, we got the overtime in game number 1. Things got a little crazy in game number 2, but I really do think these teams are evenly matched here. I mean, my goodness, I feel like we're spending the majority of our time being tied up between these two teams. And now, here we are again, 1 minute past, and we're tied all at 1.
Yeah, if 0-0 is like a neutral situation, not really a tie, teams just starting out a game, and then a 1-1 is a true tie, yeah, I'd have to agree. We've spent the vast majority of the time at those two situations. Down bottom, oh my god! Winsy just coming out and spinning like a top towards the ground and uses a little bit of extracurriculars to get this one in. Perfectly angled, man. Perfect pass as well.
Yeah, and it's those plays really that you have to sit and ask yourself, what was better, the pass or the shot? And to be honest, you really can't put a tier list on either because they were perfect. And then the shot, when you look at it, you're thinking, oh, well, that wasn't like the best shot. But when you take a look at how much speed came off of that ball, yeah, you got to give it credit because it outpaced the defender who was already positioned at the near post.
Yeah, like they were exactly where they needed to be. They just didn't realize this was a fastball. They assumed it was a slider. Sliders are slower, right? I don't know that much about baseball, I'll admit, guys. I'm sorry.
Oh, I do. I love baseball.
Oh, sliders are slower than fastballs, correct?
Yes.
Okay, good. That was
yes,
basically done. Blur coming through with the equalizer right here. Appreciate you guys. I felt it in my bones, but I wasn't 100% sure. I'll admit.
Well, I don't think there's any pitch that's faster than the fastball. That's just an educated guess. But as we continue on in Rocket League, in Carball, it is now tied 2-2. And Tugboat, we were just talking about it. These two teams are just destined to be equalized.
It seems indeed. No, that seems to be the case. Spent vast majority of game number 1, especially into the overtime situation, with that scoreline tied up. That was 2-2 going into overtime. The vast majority of number 2 that way as well. Last 30 seconds or so, there's only like a real lead purchased for the Chargers. No real leads existent right now on this scoreboard as we hit about 5 seconds outside of halftime. Down bottom, and nobody was anticipating RX. RX now with their second.
Did we talk about the pass plays that are just coming through for both sides right here? But this pass play was nuts. The 3-way pass play from the Chargers, from up on high, off the ceiling, back off the backboard, and down into mid. I don't know how they were able to pull that off because not sheer communication can make that play happen. You just have to run that in practice. That comes with team synergy, and that can only be built with hours upon hours of playing as a team. So again, kudos to the Chargers. They are making some great plays happen.
Yeah, they just been spinning gold from straw right now, man. They're just really, really creating amazing possibilities for themselves off of just absolute chaos across the middle of this Rocket League pitch so far. Marty taking this one, gets it past one, does not get it past the second. Hazy not really in a position. The Husky squad actually like heavily loading that right side of the map. He classically plays the opposite like far position. That would have been a play right now, but the New Haven Chargers, excuse me, create something awesome yet again here on offense.
As now this one goes out towards the corner off the backboard here. The Huskies have a little time to work as they're able to get the give and go. Nice 50 out to mid, but that demo on the back line, that is going to take the play that the Huskies tried to start and throw it in the garbage bin.
There's two demos right here as well. Little 2v2 action for just a couple of seconds. HUD looking dangerous on the angle coming into that, but now brings it off the wall with plenty of boost to get something done. Marzi with a great takeaway. Won this one. It's another hit. Pulse RX. Moves this on across. HUD with a block right here and a hit outside as the offense does take down a demo, though. A bouncing ball over to the right side. That looked like it was going to be perfect, but nothing doing so far. Still a lead for our University of New Haven Chargers.
And with just under a minute to go, which is long enough in Rocket League time, as it's only going to take mere seconds for Blur to put this one on and in, it literally coating the upper 90 of the net.
Nicely done. That is a perfect angle on the inside. Tied up game here between New Haven Chargers and the Huskies Maroon squad, both within game and in the series.
My goodness, again, destined to be tied, destined to be equal. As once again, the Huskies find the back of the net. We're not going to stay even for very long, as now the Huskies will take a 1-goal lead.
And really just trying to find any advantage here, and the Huskies may have just done so, 45 seconds or so, but this is already 7 scores. That is just shy of equal to their totals from game 1 and 2. Something tells me that's not the last score that we're going to see. Wingsy get into position, no boost to be spoken of. A hit over side, now centered. But that's going to be a Charger squad that's not quite in position for this. A really wonky look at that offensive setup after the second and third shots. Fortunately, no one in position. Now the Maroon squad going to be trying something. Marzi, great stop. Now RX across the middle. HUD with a great hit to keep this one on the blue side of the field. Attempting this one off the wall. Other corner here as Blur takes a demo against them.
And now the final seconds tick away. I mean, it's definitely doable. Big opportunity, and there you have it. We started this game even. We will end regulation even, maybe, I don't know, 6 seconds. That's enough time to score a goal, but will they make it happen? That remains to be seen, but this has the makings of yet another overtime.
A little bit of a breakdown there for the SMU Huskies Maroon squad. You had 2 Chargers members that could have made honest shots on that ball and made it in regardless. Everybody kind of let in right there. This is last bounce. It is to overtime we go for game number 3.
Yep, that we do, and you have to remember, you know, the Huskies were able to take the first overtime, and they have something that I like to call Captain Atsoca's OT theory, which is when a team in a series takes an overtime, they are more than likely to take every overtime afterward, and the theory holds strong, as it will be the Huskies to take the second overtime here in this series.
Clutch factor remains here with the Huskies. This pack will hunt together. After we did that, you got to start with an early lead. Now, the Chargers have gotten an early lead so far in 2 of these 3 games, but it has been squandered thereafter here. The comeback factor allowed here for the Huskies. Take that, play your same Rocket League. Don't get too aggressive. Don't change up the game plan if you're ahead until that last 30 seconds or so. Bare block right there. It looks like the Chargers are getting the offensive going early.
And they need to, and that was nearly a goal right there, and that's really important. It doesn't even have to go in all the time. Like, as long as you're making solid plays and solid attempts, and you continue and have the consistency, eventually one will go in. The important thing is that even though you're attempting to put shots on, you're keeping the Huskies from playing offense. So I say keep these plays going on the side of the Chargers. Keep putting shots on target.
Yeah, that's how they're going to take this game and tie up this series. First one on the broadcast here for the day of 5 folks. Just in case you joined us more recently, I've got to love the fact that this one is going to for at least. Pressure, Hazy reads it perfectly, and Marzi gets himself the riot act red up close and personal with a no goal right there. Decent stop for Martzi. Picks this one back up and hits it against the wall, but it's going to be Hazy with continued progress. Blur tries for a block, sends it against the corner. Now back on with a lot of offensive pressure. RX actually kind of clearing it themselves.
Oh, and a big slap shot goes right down and in for the Huskies as they're going to get on the board first after a minute and 29 of regulation.
Down bottom right here, and the Chargers defense just not set up. Really trying to find something early, kind of taking the Tugboat and Captain Atsoca advice to heart, it seems.
Well, let's see if the Chargers can answer back. Flip reset does go on target, but it does get cleared away by HUD EV. Coming through with the follow-up, the Chargers will try again. The 50-50 goes out towards mid. Shot on. Blur is there to clear this one out, but the Chargers not giving up on the offense just yet.
Off the wall, got the double tap to kind of center this one up a little bit more, but that's going to be Blur that sends this one flying. Blur once again! Wow, a screaming ball across the middle. HUD barely getting into position for that one, but does. Now transitions perfectly back on over into the offense. Got to get this going against the wall. No, the Huskies Maroon squad kind of give up possession right here. Okay, excuse me. Chargers immediately taking on over, take a demo, and lose possession.
Yep, sometimes you have to give a little to take a little, and by the Huskies giving up a little possession, they were able to find themselves some new positioning and now give themselves a little bit more of a presence on the offensive side, as nearly they were able to score twice, as finally the Chargers look as though they are going to be pushing back against this mounting offense, but finally the defense will fall and the Huskies find their second goal.
Winsey kind of left to do everything themselves on the defense. Like you can kind of see here, other Chargers members, I mean, when they're not respawning from getting demoed after just kind of eyes on the ball a little bit too much right there, there's just nobody back. Winsey right there got, I think, at least 3 saves in the course of about 25 seconds.
We are just seconds from that 2-minute mark. The Huskies now leading 2-0. We have already stated, how rare it was for one of these teams not only to not be tied, but just to have a 2-goal lead. So the Huskies looking really good with just 2 minutes left to go. And if they can hold it, they will take the series.
Yeah, and folks, these outside of Game 3 has been relatively low-scoring affairs, and nobody's gotten shut out so far, though. So the Chargers, if they get shut out here in this 4th game after taking the one in regular time, a terrible way to exit from these quarterfinals. Now a pop play over. That was definitely the result of some miscommunication, we'll call it.
Yeah, we'll chalk that one up to a mulligan. We'll just say they get a redo, they get a retry. We'll you know what? It didn't even happen. I have no idea what you're talking about. Didn't even see it. Picks or it didn't happen. Regardless, this one's going to be going back the other way as the Chargers will try again.
Izzy is going to be taking this one. Decent angle. That's a bouncing ball, but nothing that Martzi can't deal with. That's a block, but not really a clear. Winsey, we'll talk about clear, is now down.
3-goal comeback. So we'll see if the Chargers can make it happen, but, I mean, they have got to start getting on the board, and they have got to start right now.
I mean, probable, likely, impossible, regardless. It's not going to matter if the Chargers spend no time on offense. Here's the first real hit that they've seen into the blue side for a while. And the clears for the Huskies and Maroon squad have just been too good. This one sent back on over the other corner. Nobody really able to get up to that one, try and make an honest attempt and swing at that. Shot inside. That's exactly what the doctor ordered for the Chargers.
It most certainly is, and you notice on the clock there is just enough time. Just enough. And again, the reason that we say this is because within what we have seen in the world of Rocket League, we have gotten, the seconds to goal type ratio where you want to allot yourself at least 10 seconds per goal in these 10 situations. So with just over 20 seconds to go to get 2 goals, we are still within that realm of possibility.
Yeah, but the Huskies know that they just have to kind of play keep away for a little bit. Like, their big... Okay, I was going to say their biggest opponent is the clock right now. Their biggest opponent truly is Winsey from the top rope.
Here we go. The time ratio is still on the side of the Chargers. They got 16 seconds to score one more. Can they make it happen?
Look, the Chargers have taken this twice in overtime. You talked to the good people at the beginning of this one, how the squad here for the Chargers need to do They've lost twice in OT so far, but this would be a miraculous comeback in every way, shape, and form. Shot on, and that's going to hit for a second. Marcy, 9th shot attempted. Second goal in from downtown here from Oryx.
What was that? Was that like 3 goals? I don't even know. 3 goals?
Yep,
maybe 2?
2 seconds.
In less than a matter of seconds, it has happened. The equalizer has come true. The ratio stands tall, and for the 3rd time in the series, we have overtime.
Look, the Huskies took this 3 times, but that is a miraculous 3rd, or 11th hour, comeback. 3 goals, 62 seconds. If we're talking momentum, it is all the way for the Chargers right now.
Oh my, but you have to keep in mind, the Huskies in the last 2 overtimes have won both. Let's see if they can continue that trend as the Chargers look to come through to send us to a Game 5 and what could be considered one of the better upsets, one of the better comebacks in the NECC.
It's a down bottom shot that was really just trying to get that nose against the ground for the Huskies Maroon squad, but now only 2 players back. Everybody beating feet for the Huskies squad to get in the defensive position. Now that is immediately transitioned. Hazy off the wall right here. That's going to be 51. Centered up, but players not in position. This is wise, though. Marcy, that was pretty much on point. You got to get rotated to defend away against that one.
Well, here we go, a minute into OT. The Chargers have the shot. It rings off the post, and somehow, some way, it gets saved and cleared away.
Got to eclipse 100%. We're talking like 75 or 80 right there, but that'll be enough for a save.
Oh my goodness, my blood pressure can't handle much more than that. I mean, it doesn't get much closer than that. It rung off of both posts. Now the follow-up shot coming from the Huskies. It was on target. Another follow-up shot somehow gets saved away by Winsey. And my goodness, it cannot possibly get any closer. No matter how this series ends, you cannot persuade me that these 2 teams are not evenly matched.
Oh, 100%. 100%. 3 overtimes. I wouldn't dare argue differently, Captain. Blur trying to get this one down to a teammate, but easily taken away from there from Winsey. Winsey looking for something against the ground. Can't quite find it. Shot attempted. No block awarded. Marcy up to it. A great read from Blur. And now Hazy's got to get this one out.
Here we are. 2 minutes into overtime now. There's a total of 7 for this entire game. And now Hazy, not a lot of boost to work with, has to finesse as that 50-50 will go mid. No follow-up touch there as they look for the demo from the air, and they're not able to connect. But I got to tell you, I like the way the Huskies are thinking. This is being a little creative.
With something different as well. I mean, across 4 games, especially 3 of which now have gone to overtime, these 2 teams have seen a whole lot of each other. Whoever's going to be able to take more rabbits out of the hat is going to go forth and take this one. Oh my! That was almost a perfect angle there from Hazy.
That felt like that was the one. I mean, the ground pinch was there, the follow-up, the finesse, everything in between. Just slightly off target on that last shot from the Huskies. It's a big demo. Does open up the net. The flick goes up. It goes high. It crosses over, but the follow-up shot from Hazy finds the back of the net, and Captain Atsoca's OT theory holds true as the Huskies win 3 back-to-back games in overtime.
Crazy stuff. Absolutely crazy stuff. St. Mary's University punching their ticket on into the semifinals. And pretty flashy form. And wait, 3 overtime wins, right? Wow. So just to recap, folks, that was OT.